we also need to consider which are the locations and which are the risk, the future risk. But I give you another example of a market which is, if you read it on the paper, it's a disaster. It's Vélizy. It's a location which was invented 35, 40 years ago. If you look at the vacancy rates in Vélizy at the moment, you can get really scared. On the very same location at the moment, you have a large number of top-class, high-quality campus office building, which either already have been created for Dassault, for instance, or are in the process of being built for Thales, both projects run by Foncière de Région. So yes, location is important. Yes, proximity to transportation is important, and price is important, and efficiency. But I think the sustainability of the building and the quality of the building is getting more and more important. And as it also becomes, let's say, the guideline for many occupiers for compliance reasons. They virtually cannot subscribe a new lease if you, in particular the large corporate users, they cannot subscribe a non-green lease nowadays any longer. So I think sustainability and quality of buildings is getting more and more important, also in terms of long-term value and long-term risk perspective for us as bankers as well.
Okay, good. Alfred, yes.
I think if you look at it from a pure legal side, réglementation énergétique, we have something had in 2007 roughly. Then we have Grenelle 1 et 2. That does mean was also legislation only turned to environmental issues. And then in 2012 you had second réglementation énergétique. That does mean our government and the legislator is going really to look also into this area, what we have to do really in green buildings and so forth. And I remember in 2008 when the first buildings, green buildings, were coming up, and we visited them with potential tenants, the first question was, where is the air conditioning? No air conditioning? So nowadays people are talking about social responsibility, so on the tenant side. So particularly the big tenants, you just mentioned, Thales and all the others, are looking into that from a different perspective. And even the representatives from the labor representatives are now acknowledging that it is necessary to put some pressure on the employees to keep up with certain things in the office, to turn out light in the evening, for example. And if there's a system that you have not to open windows at certain times of the day, you have to stick to that. So all these kind of things are really put into practice, which was impossible 5 years ago, we see now happening. And that's something we have really in negotiations, writing from green leases and so forth, we can really trace over the last 5 years.
Okay, good.
What is very interesting compared to all this pressure to have a green building, which appeared 5 to 7 years ago in France, is that now it's mandatory when you sign a lease with a big corporate to have a green appendix to your lease. Meaning that when a corporate decides to move from a premises to another, usually it's for regrouping the teams, rationalizing, making some savings and so on. And when they start discussing with their agent or with the owner, they finally discover that they have to take some commitment from an environmental side. And so if, as an investor, we are not prepared, we never assume in our business plan that at some point, when we're going to meet the new tenant, there will be some discussion about that. There will be some commitment on both sides. You will never sign a lease, for sure. And we have been refurbished a 45,000 square meters building in the western part of Paris. We took the decision to have this building vacant for 15 months to get it green. And once we have finished this building, delivered this building, we lease 50% of this building in a quarter, because all the corporate sign was so happy to find something simple, green, efficient in the market. So this is what we have to be prepared. Again, this 90%